guys want to talk about The Walking Dead?
Oh, yeah.
F it.
Yeah, F it.
Oh,
Change the
awesome
channel.
game.
All right.
Let's go over here. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't played it, so go
All
ahead.
right. Well, I feel like I've talked about like point and click games a lot on this show.
This is the best game that you can
So-
get on the PS3 ever.
What?
okay.
Come on.
Okay,
No,
camera
alright,
over
get
here.
out of here.
Yeah, let's-
Shut up.
Let the people know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Speak on here. Okay. Anyways, so like I was a big fan of Telltale when I first started hearing about them. I really liked Monkey Island, and they did a version of Monkey Island which was awesome. Then they had the Sam and Max games. Then Back to the Future came out, which obviously we just talked about, and I was like psyched for it.
Oh yeah. I wanted to point that out. Before that was Telltale's most successful game. Back to the Future was awesome for them, but until Walking Dead was a runaway success. Now
Yeah.
Walking Dead kind of eclipsed it, but
Well, I feel like
it's interesting to note that
it's weird. They've had a really good like momentum, like because they were like kind of an unknown studio. They had some weird like original like games, and then they got Monkey Island, and that's what got my attention. I was like, oh, new Monkey Island, like, and it was good. And then they got Back to the Future, and I was like, F yeah, this is awesome. And then I heard about them getting Jurassic Park and the Walking Dead series, and I was like, well, how are they going to do those? Jurassic Park kind of stunk,
I didn't
but Walking Dead was awesome. I mean, that's like the peak of their series so far. I'm waiting to see what they go from here.
Yeah. Like our first episode of this show, like we actually kind of had a rant about The Walking Dead, like because it was in one of our top favorites.
Yeah.
And I mean the game is awesome. Like I said time and time before, I'm really sick of the whole zombie genre, and
this though.
Yeah, this game I really liked. Like what's really cool, like one of the first things you notice in the game is that you have like a timer on the decisions that you have, like with the
dialogue,
the dialogue
even
selection,
dialogue,
like yeah, like,
action.
I noticed
there's
that.
a
That
timer.
Because it keeps
Oh,
it
there's
pace.
some other game I played recently that had that, like in the last couple years, and that's so it forces you to just pick something
which
quick.
really works for this kind of game because it really keeps the suspense up. Like it's
Right.
like you really have to kind of like just make that initial choice of like whatever you're gonna do. Like you really have to kind of follow through with whatever.
Yeah, what I liked about this was, obviously it's The Walking Dead, but most of the time, a lot of the episodes were about just the interactions between the characters and not about strictly just the zombies, which I really liked because
Yeah, I mean it's definitely that Walking Dead vibe right there. There are zombies, but I wouldn't say they're really the main focus, or they're more of like a background piece to kind of drive the story.
Yeah, and it's cool
Well, I mean,
because you have the Walking
that's how the
Dead.
show and comic is too.
Oh, sorry. Say that again, Tom.
I'm just saying that's how the show and the comic is set up as well.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
less about the zombies. So.
Yeah, like what's cool too is like it has like the Walking Dead franchise, and it's totally like new characters, but it's in the same universe. I mean, like it's just another place in the world where there's zombie madness going on.
Now,
And-
I don't want to give anything away, but like I liked the ending, but at the same time I didn't because I liked the characters so much, and if you beat it, you can kind of understand what I'm saying.
Even if you didn't beat it, I think you laid it on pretty thick there.
Yeah, thanks. Well, thanks. Yeah, spoiler alert here, Nick.
Anyways, but I don't know. I can't. I'm totally torn.
There's
between the
a
ending.
season 2 coming out, so
Yeah.
we're gonna see what happens. It was definitely a very intense game. Spoiler alert: people die in the game, and
Whoa.
sometimes
Zombie.
Big surprise there.
I know, right? But a lot of some people die based on your choices, and it's pretty hard hitting like that. You really feel for it. Like some of the choices you think.
Yeah, like, I tried really hard to keep some characters, and
Yeah,
like when they were gone, I did feel pretty butthurt over it.
Yeah, I didn't make any choices lightly in this game. I wasn't like just trying to click through. Like all the conversation, I really thought about what was being said or what was I was doing, and it's awesome. I think every playthrough it will be a little bit different. I mean, the whole arc of the story pretty much is going to be the same, but it's those little individual choices that make it different on there.
I love, obviously, I'm going back to characters, but I think the best interactions were between, Clementine and Wee, and I think Clementine was probably like my favorite character.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
well,
no.
she was the whole driving
Yeah.
force behind the story.
That's what they had in mind when they like wrote the entire story, just like those two characters and then everybody
Right.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel forced. Like, I mean, the interactions between some other characters and other games feel really forced. And I haven't played through the entire game, but from what I played through, like the writing is good and the transitions between segments are really good, and it flows really well.
Yeah,
It does flow well.
It's
yeah.
awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
and there's even a few like actiony bits too, where you have to do some shooting. Like it's very like, but they're very short, like and condensed. So it doesn't try to be an action game, but there's a few parts here and there that help kind of move it along and keep it like, you know, when it's supposed to be like an intense scene, that helps move it along. And then
Yeah.
Now, I don't know, but like, I didn't really feel like the game got very challenging at any point, though.
no,
Yeah, I
like-
don't think, but at the same time, I don't think that's really the point. I think
No, I'm just saying the game.
Yeah.
The game is kind of a cakewalk, but
Yeah,
it's more just like it's very enjoyable. It's very fun to play.
I think the
but-
best way to say it's an interactive like
story.
Yeah.
Comic. It's like an
interactive
interactive comic or whatever. It's
Yeah,
just like
exactly.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a challenge, like
not this game.
Yeah,
But
Don't-
at the same
don't
time,
bother,
there
but
are cool gameplay elements.
oh yeah, no, definitely. But you can have cool gameplay elements without being a challenge at all.
Yeah.
The gameplay's good if you like adventure games. Now, I will say for an adventure game aspect too, if you're looking for like really like hard like Sierra-esque like brain teasers that are gonna have you smacking your head against the wall again, this isn't gonna
Not this
have it.
game.
Like
Yeah.
I don't think there's any part where I was stuck for more than a few moments. Everything flowed really nicely, but it was really awesome story.
Yep.
And it was enjoyable. That's what it comes down to. It wasn't super hard like in any aspect at all, but you know everything works.
Yeah.
That includes. So I mean,
Graphically, I thought it was really good too.
Graphically-
it had that comic.
Yeah,
it had that comic booky vibe to it.
Comic booky.
yeah.
The comic booky.
Graphically, it was awesome because it looked like the comic
Smooth.
book, and that really helped. You know, and it worked too because again, it's Telltale. You know, I think they're a lot bigger now than they were just a few years ago when they were
Oh,
first
yeah, for
releasing
sure.
The new Monkey Island, and now they've blown up because of these games because everyone's been playing them.
Yeah.
So I feel like they'll start getting bigger budgets and more like advanced graphics for their games. So, but this worked for them because they went for that comic book feel and they could still hide that lower budget like that they had because the art style really worked for what they were trying to do.
I think this game had a fairly substantial budget though. I think just because of the subject.
Yeah.
Maybe substantial for them.
For
but,
them,
you know,
yeah. I mean, it's still not a AAA title, but,
No, but-
they were still working with as opposed to Back to the Future. I mean, they were working with a much more considerable budget.
Definitely. But it's been. I mean, you can tell their quality. Not that they ever had bad quality from the earlier games, but like
It improved for sure.
you can
yeah.
definitely tell the quality just keeps going up, which is what I really like. And this game really shows it. So episode 1 through 5, awesome, really cool story. I was at the edge of my seat, like waiting for that next release month after month, and they just released the 400 Days DLC not too long ago. That's more of a standalone story. It's like 5 different characters, and they all kind of intertwine. It's fully like 2 hours between all 5 characters. But if you like The Walking Dead, just kind of throwing it in there, worth playing the DLC. It does kind of connect it, but it's its own thing at the same time.
Well,
kind
it's
of like
supposed to be a bridge into
it
season
is.
2, right?
That's exactly. It's pretty much bridging into season 2, which I'm really excited for. But
I mean,
What we saw just here is that was like a pre-canned kind of action sequence where he was up against the car and
Yeah.
then you got to get the gun and
Exactly.
do all this stuff. Is there any more? Is there anything else in the game that's more involved than that? Like
that's
action
basically
sequences?
that's like a almost.
Those are
kinda
the
like-
action sequences.
That's like the first action sequence of the game, so that's kind of like
Yeah.
setting the stage of what you're going to have to do. It gets a little harder than that.
there's
but
a few of them where
it's
you
basically
kinda,
that's the same thing.
You got to like take a little bit of cover
okay.
behind
Yeah.
cars and take out bandits. But it's
and-
more
or there's-
about the dialogue and I guess you could call puzzles in it.
Well,
But
there's
it's-
definitely times even the gameplay doesn't, but you'll definitely have to rush to help other characters out.
Yeah, but
Right.
aside from like that format, it doesn't really break away from that. It stays. It's like the same. The gun parts. Then you're searching for items, and then talking to.
But again,
Your
which
party.
is something that I liked because I think it's a game that, like I said, focuses on story first, then gameplay.
Right. Well, I'm just answering Chris's question. But a cool thing about the game too is that it's on just about every platform there is. Like you can get this game on your iPhone or whatever phone you have. I'm sure that's a smartphone, and I'm sure I actually played it on my phone before, and it does play pretty smooth. So I mean, you can really like if you've never played this game and like you really don't have the time, you can just get it on your phone and play it on the go, and it plays just as good as playing it on a computer. It's awesome. So, I mean, it's totally worth checking out if you haven't played it already.
Yeah, that sounds cool. So plenty of options to.
I would agree with that. I actually have a question for I'll gear this question towards Jeff since I know that or Jeff and Steve since I think they're the biggest horror fans over there. How would or just everybody I guess I'll gear this towards. How would you rate all this Walking Dead stuff in terms of your favorite? Would you say the comic, the movies, or the comic, the show, or the games are your favorite things?
Well, the show's dead last easily.
Although the show is good.
The show's really good.
I didn't watch the finale.
I haven't watched the last
but
few seasons, but I did like the show.
I like it. People were going to compare it obviously to the comic book in some way.
This is going to go totally off whack here what we're talking about because we're talking about the game. But I will say the show kind of loses focus on characters and moves too slowly. And the characters are dumb in it for whatever reason. They're just like oblivious and ignorant.
Yeah.
I feel like in the comic and in the game they portray them as like smart, like intelligent characters who aren't.
Do you think that? Wait, you think in the TV show they portray them as like dumb?
Oh yeah.
And what?
Have you seen Carl at all? Carl's the worst character ever.
It's like they're all like just like stupid. Like it's just stupid decisions left and
game
right.
itself also has some characters making pretty stupid decisions.
Right.
That I saw.
What in the game?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's gonna it in all three formats. Yeah, it happens. But in the show, but in the comic and in the game, I found obviously they're stupid characters, but I found a lot of the characters likable. I could relate to, and I want to see what happened to him next. In the show has pretty much all the comic book characters, some slight differences. They're just
you don't care for them as much.
I could not care when there are a bunch of character deaths that happen in the comic book. It happens, and it's like it's sad. And this isn't the comic's better than the show, but it's that. Like, it just doesn't have that character impact I want.
I mean, I feel like all three are pretty good on their own. Like, the game and the comic, I feel like, are closer together. Like, I mean, I really cared about the characters in the game and the comics. I mean, the comics were awesome. I mean, I thought those were really good. So, but, yeah, I mean, I feel like all three, like, you don't really need to like one or the other or even know about one or the other. Like, they all kind of
they're all standalone for
like
sure.
Yeah, they're all standalone.
Yeah, they all definitely work along on their own.
Like you could watch the show and have never read the comic or play the game and really enjoy it, and then same goes for the game or the comic. So, I mean, I think that it's really versatile in that way. It's really cool that I mean, everything's kind of good in its own right, but I can't really say one's better than the other.
All right. Just getting some opinions here.
All right. Well,
so, but yeah, I would agree with Steve. I'd say that for me, I mean, the show's kind of like last in terms of like what I care about, and I'll say that the comics and the game, being that they're more tightly sewn together, I definitely care for them.
Yeah, that should be pointed out too. These games do actually pretty much officially fall into the comic universe. So I think people have asked like Kirkman if like any of the characters would actually pop up in the comic book. I can't remember what he said. I haven't read any of the issues for like a while now, so I'm pretty behind on that. But
well, Glenn is in.
Well, Glenn's in the first episode. But like all the original characters of the game, like there's been talks about them popping up somewhere. People have said the show. I can't see any of them like talk about like Clementine popping up in the TV show. I can't see that happening. It just wouldn't make sense. In the comic book, I could see it though because it's it's within the same universe. They share the same stuff. So I don't know. Worth playing though. So again, like I said, Back to the Future. But this one, if you like zombies, if you like Walking Dead, and if you like point and click games.
And if you like Robert Kirkman, by the way, Robert Kirkman's new comic book series, Super Dinosaur, is awesome.
Oh yeah,
haven't read it.
I definitely go.
Never heard of it.
All right, well he's got a comic book called Super Dinosaur.
I'll check it out.
All right.
So yeah, then in terms of our recommendation, what are you guys going to slap on this? You guys going to say
definitely
must play regardless?
Must play.
I think it's a must play definitely.
I'll give it a rent.
Yeah, a rent.
Red box.
What would you guys give it for a score?
Buy it, play it. It's worth the purchase.
It's definitely worth the purchase.
And I think it's what's like for all 5 episodes, it's like maybe like $20 altogether, and I think the DLC
Yeah,
is a
and
few
each
extra
episode
bucks.
is about like 2 hours long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
You feel like
It
you get your
depends.
money's worth for each one.
and
Jeff,
the
hey,
playthroughs
Jeff.
can be different each time. Like, yeah, worth playing again.
Or hey, Jeff or Nick, would you give this game 5 out of 5 stars?
5 out of 5
5 out of
stars.
5 stars.
Yes.
Would you guys?
My
all right, good.
Rambo review.
Very good.
My Rambo review.
So, can't go wrong with the Walking Dead. It sounds like.